Well, I didn't expect myself to make another Apple Arcade video, but Sega reminded me they do indeed have non-Sonic games on this service, pretty much just forced my hand. If you haven't watched my Apple Arcade video, well, what are you doing here? Go watch it. But for those who can't be asked to watch it, then here's a recap from little old me. Apple Arcade is a monthly subscription service that offers original games or premium editions of games for iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple TV. And the video I made was a look into the ones that interested me the most. Look, I'm a busy guy, I can only review as many games as I can, just don't expect me to be the next Cad Icarus, alright? But it turns out I'm not done selling my soul to Apple just yet, because it seems like Sega has more than Sonic Dream Team, Sonic Racing, and Sonic Dash Plus in the arcade. I'd make this vid a general sequel to the Apple Arcade video, but I have more important ideas for videos that I'd rather make than another Apple Arcade vid. But I could make solo videos on the games, not sure, so if you want to hear my thoughts on What the Car, you'll probably hear them one day. Hey, I just found out that What the Car is no longer an Apple Arcade exclusive, and neither is Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, so that's absolutely gas. More people can finally play it. Alright, enough yapping. Let's start off this video by saying hello to an old friend. Please get me out of Apple's basement! So at the end of my Apple Arcade video, I covered the most recent Sonic game at the time, Sonic Dream Team. Long story short, it's a simple yet fantastic Sonic game. It's one of the most tightly put together games in the series, and it showed the creative potential of Sega Hardlight. But it seems like history is repeating itself, because much like with Sonic Frontiers, Sonic Dream Team is getting free updates throughout 2024. With each update coming out every 2 months, approximately, I think. Maybe, that's just a guess. 2 updates are currently out with 1 more update to go, so let's take a look at what they have to offer. Update 1 is called Speed Battle. See what you did there, Hardlight. It adds new time trial stages, a complete boss overhaul with their own missions, and leaderboards. But let's be real, nobody really gives a shit about leaderboards unless you're a massive Sonic sweat like me. The time trials are pretty self-explanatory. You race against the clock to reach the goal as fast as you can, and can be played over and over again to beat your best time. Much like the cyberspace levels in Sonic Frontiers, I see myself playing through these stages a lot. They offer a lot of challenge and is required to learn the stage inside and outside instead of the fuck it, we ball strats in Sonic Frontiers. I'll probably learn to master these stages for quite a long time until I grow a mustache like this crab over here. Oh yeah, speaking of you. They completely overhauled the bosses. New attack patterns allow faster ways to defeat the bosses, and the changes are really interesting. Dr. Crabulus, Dr. Crabolus, Mr. Krabs, and the 4 men now have little homing attack windows, and that makes the bosses go down a bit faster. In the timed challenges, you really have to commit to these changes, although in one of the challenges, Mr. Krabs soft-locked. Hello? Hello, Mr. Krabs? You good? You need something? Do you want me to put some money in your, nose? The Guardian Hunter shook things up the most. I really dig the changes to him. It feels a lot harder and the final phase is completely different. It's awesome.
I die!
Down I go!
I didn't notice any changes to Nightmare Eggman though. I tried to, but I didn't see any. So I assume he's the only one who didn't get an upgrade. That's just my bet. And then there's the leaderboards, which is pretty self-explanatory, but who cares? On to update 2, boy! Update 2 is called the Sweet Dreams update, which just so happens to be the name of the new zone, and holy moly, they cooked! The music is good, the new pulley mechanics are unique, the level design is immaculate. I genuinely didn't know that Hardlight had that dog in them. This reminds me of the new cyberspace levels in Sonic Frontiers The Final Horizon, only with no popping and budget restrictions. Sega, please give Sonic Team more money, I swear to God. And as for these new mechanics, there's swings, pulleys, and these little spinny things. None of them slow things down, and they all contribute to the flow of the level. As for the difficulty, holy moly, it's hard. And that is not a bad thing at all. This is a good kind of hard. And there's gonna be even more to Zone in the next update, so yeah, I can't wait to play it. To be frank, I think this is one of the best Sonic levels we've seen in years. Again, Hardlight cooked for this one, so hats off to them once again. But a new zone isn't all they added in this update. They also added level rankings for every single level. It's very similar to how the old games handle rankings. You get a better rank depending on how fast you play and how high you score. But holy shit, they do not mess around. And I mean that in the best way possible. I love the S ranks in this game. You actually have to master a level instead of just holding the X button without dying like Generations. I had so much fun replaying the levels for God knows how long just to get that sweet purple letter. I'm so sorry I had to hear that. But yeah, the updates so far, they sick. Really looking forward to the 3rd and final update now, and That's all I really gotta say, other than they should add Shadow in the final update. I mean, come on, this year is the year of Shadow. It'll be a missed opportunity if they didn't add Shadow. Alright, before I start yapping about the first proper game in this video, here's some cool facts. Not sure if many people know this, but Sonic Team would work on various other games for their respective consoles, such as Nights into Dreams, Samba De Amigo, Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, Phantasy Star Online, Puyo Pop, Puyo Puyo Fever, Puyo Puyo Fever 2, Puyo Puyo 15th Anniversary, Puyo Puyo 7, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Puyo Puyo Champions, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, Astro Boy? No, that is not a joke. Sonic Team did make this.
This user is also the opinion basher.
But to me, one of the most unique non-Sonic works is definitely Choo Choo Rocket. It's a game for the Dreamcast and GBA where you must place arrows on a board to lead mice into escape rockets while avoiding cats. It's a unique little game that will soon be revisited in the first game I will talk about, Choo Choo Rocket Universe. A brand new Choo Choo game for the first time in 20 years. So without further ado, let's haul back into the world of Choo Choo Rocket.
Yeah, funny story, Mr. Scott. They kind of took it down.
All right, that's cool to know. Wait a goddamn minute, run that back for me.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, man, they killed the mouse. They put him in the bin. They killed the funny mouse and the funny cat. They killed the funny mouse and the funny.
Okay, let's talk about Samba De Amigo Party to Go instead. I have never played a Samba De Amigo game, so this makes my first foray into the series. The weird thing about this though is that this is one out of 3 versions of the new Samba De Amigo, each with their own separate modes for a specific version. So, Sega pretty much just pulled a Pokemon on us. But what is Samba De Amigo? Well, it's a rhythm game that was originally released in arcades in 1999 and on Dreamcast in the year 2000. Fast forward 23 years later, Amigo finally gets a new game in the form of Samba De Amigo Party Central. Or Samba De Amigo Virtual Party, or Samba De Amigo Party to Go, which is the one we will be looking at. Yeah. This one has all the DLC you can buy on Party Central and has a dedicated story mode. And it's a pretty insane story mode because in the start, Amigo dies. Wait, nah, never mind, he's okay. Apparently he's been out cold for 5 years? Okay! From what I played, the story mode is definitely the highlight of this version. It's so damn bonkers and all over the place, and I love that, especially for a game like this. Other than that, this is just Samba De Amigo on your phone. It doesn't do anything new from my knowledge of the series, but it's still a fun time if you want a fun rhythm game on your phone. Okay, that's all I gotta say, onto the jelly popping game. Puyo Puyo Puzzle Pop is the first solely original Puyo game since Puyo Chronicle. If none of you know what Puyo Puyo is, well, it's a game that's kinda like Tetris or Bejeweled, but instead of clearing rows of blocks or matching 3 gems, you clear 4 blobs or more, and if you play your cards right, you can make some big chains that can wipe the floor with your opponent easily. The series was originally developed by Compile, but then nowadays the series is currently in the hands of Sonic Team, and the quality has been a bit iffy, to say the least. The series hasn't met the same peak 20th anniversary achieved, and that was more than a decade ago. It's regarded as the best Puyo game because of the number of modes and content it has, so since this is the first game that doesn't involve Tetris in years, let's see if Puzzle Pop can meet the same level. Now, don't get me wrong, this game has a lot of content. All dialogue is fully voiced like the rest of the games, each character has their own story like 20th Anniversary, which is nice to see. However, it feels like I'm playing an early access game. The story mode isn't even complete, it has no ending. Once I was done with the main story, I was just spat back into the main menu. And as for the story itself, it's just basic and boring. Basically, the story is the Puyo gang get flung into a dream world and they all have a bunch of questions. So each of them try to track down some clues and meet some people along the way, wondering if they are the culprit or not. It's the same shit over and over and over again. It's just, hey person, did you put this in this dream world? What the hell are you yapping about? Puyo Battle! Well, it turns out you aren't the culprit, my work here is done, I'm gonna go play Super Meat Boy. Rinse and repeat. I mean, the dialogue is charming and all, but I just stopped caring about the story overall, that I just skipped every single cutscene. Thank God there's a synopsis before you do skip a cutscene. The game overall is just unbearably basic, especially with the story mode I just mentioned. You have all these modes, and you use none of them in the story mode. It's just a Puyo Puyo 2 mode for every single chapter. No fever, no mini excavation, no Big Bang, nothing. It's so boring. I mean, the core gameplay is still rather fun, but man, I can still feel that missed potential. And as for the online, well, nobody plays it. Either because Puyo is still rather niche in the West, or that it's an Apple Arcade exclusive. Either way, the online sucks ass. Like Sonic Dream Team, there's going to be updates in the near future, but this just isn't it, Sega, and I'm extremely disappointed. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go play some Hi-Fi Rush. That's all. That's the video. I know it was short, leave me alone.